With Wizards of the Coast printing more reprints, a lot of the card prices out there are tanking, but that isn't stopping players from buying these cards. With the sealed market in the toilet right now, players are having a good time picking up singles. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. Only 750 subscribers away from hitting 15,000 subs. Thanks again, everyone who's making this possible by hitting that subscribe button, giving the videos a thumbs up, and watching my content each and every day. Of course, that shout out goes out to those regular viewers who do watch all the time, as well as my Patreon and YouTube members for supporting the channel, guys. It's epic to be here with you guys every day, and I look forward to seeing those comments in the comment section. Continued silence from Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast has a lot of the Magic the Gathering community wondering what's going on. And that means sealed products are staying in the toilet, and we're going to keep flushing them down until we get some answers about what's going on out there. But players still want to play Magic the Gathering. They still want to enjoy this game. And when they start thinking about where to spend their hard-earned shekels, they start looking toward the singles market. Maybe they want to upgrade a deck they've always wanted to build. Maybe they're looking for individual reserve list cards, but maybe they just want to fill out a commander deck with bling cards they've never had the chance to own. Either way, the singles market is moving very well, and I'm starting to see an uptick in some of the local LGSs telling me that some of the singles sales are kind of picking up right now. And that's probably due to the fact that we have such a poor sealed market that nobody's touching it with a 10-foot pole, okay? Not enough Kleenex in the world right now can wipe that up, you know what I'm saying? So when we look toward what's happening, players indulging themselves with buying a few extra cards right now seems perfectly fair and normal to the players doing it. So when we get through the video today and I show you some of these moving cards to watch, because not all of these cards are cards I would be buying right now. Some of them, let them fall like a stone, give them a certain amount of time period, and then that's the time to pick them up. So let's get to the video. Let's enjoy ourselves on the journey and see which cards you should be watching. Our first card today is Mox Amber from Dominaria, and you're talking to a player who has the most copies in the world. And I'm telling you, let it fall. That's right. I knew if they ever reprinted it, and I've mentioned it many times on the channel, even though it's kind of a specialty reprint, they didn't make it that hard to get inside the Brothers War, and the influx of copies is just killing the Mox Amber market and bringing the prices down to earth, and that's good for a lot of players, but it's not done falling yet. This card has a ways to go. The way that Wizards of the Coast likes to do these reprints, you can almost time them to that 4 or 5 year mark depending on the value they get to. This is almost 5 years. They've reprinted the card, and now the originals are starting to tank down in price. It won't be a bottoming out. This isn't going to stay low forever, because the way the market is, it's going to rebound. If you're looking to take advantage of this card, I still think you have about 2 weeks to 4 weeks left to hit the bottom of where this card's going to fall. If you want to get an OG original, if you want to get some of the schematic frame or one of the old retro looking ones, this isn't a bad time on the market, and a lot of players are picking this card up right now. A lot of stores are having a lot of interest as the prices are falling for this particular card to really start moving, as it has lots of homes inside Commander nowadays. Now our next card is Mishra Claimed by Gix. Now this is already starting to come down in price. We've talked about it. It's not the very bottom of the barrel yet. The market price of $28.75 US still has a little further to fall, but this card is seeing a lot more play as a meld card than what we're seeing with Urza. The Mishra card here is having a lot of play, so keep an eye on this card. It is a card to watch. If it's one you've always wanted, pick it up before it becomes expensive in case some kind of breaking happens where people find a weird finagly way to make this card really work for them with that Dragon Engine combo. Because when they go out and hit the board, they do a lot of damage to people. A really fun card to have around. Now, Rankle, Master of Pranks, Throne of Eldraine. I'm throwing this one out there as a bit of a side, okay? It's only $7.79 as the market price. €5.40 to get this card into your house. But when you look at this card, remember, 2 black, 2 other. 3/3 flying haste with all kinds of quirky abilities that make this card a card to hold on to, a card to have. But as cards like this gain in value, as the value of cards like this rise, it means Wizards will look to print this card. This card's just starting to see a small increase now as it's being used with some Sheoldred decks. Keep an eye on this one. It is one to watch along with that Phyrexian Portal. That's a little side card. I had it last week. Keep an eye on that stuff. It's still going up as well. It may even make the hot top 10 this weekend, so keep an eye out for that card on Saturday. Now, our next card is Erebos, God of the Dead. Now, this card hasn't seen tons of play right now, but it does have a home in Commander, and has a market price of $11.39. We're talking original Theros. Take a closer look at what this card does. It's got indestructible, but your opponents can't gain life. That means anyone in your Commander game's not gaining life, but look at what it can do for you. You can pay 2 life and draw a card, which means in a 40 life type of combination here, you can draw a lot of cards and get things moving. And there are ways of unsummoning these things or making them move out of the way just for you, phasing in, phasing out. Crazy stuff nowadays to keep an eye on cards like this because they could have a future home and do a lot of damage. And if the price is this low, it might be the right price to get in there at on a card like Erebos. Now our next card is Shazan, the the pronunciation of some of these words, guys, blows my mind. The perverter of truth. And I'm speaking truth that I can't pronounce these words sometimes. All right, you take a look at this card. Now, when we had Sheoldred come out, this card spiked in value. And they've already reprinted it in Jumpstart 2022, which means the value is already coming down. And this wasn't a super pricey card to begin with, so expect this one to flatline, okay? It is going to come down, and it's going to hit hard. So right now, the market says 34. Expect this thing to stop around 15, 20 bucks, okay? It will not hold with a reprint like this going to Jumpstart because the market will bottom out about 70 to 90 days from now. Crazy stuff, but that's how it's going to go down, so pay attention to it. Our next card is Karn, liberated from New Phyrexian. Yes, I banged the mic. I apologize. I lifted my arm. When I look at Karn, and I remember this card being like an $80 card, it just shows me what Wizards of the Coast can do when they want to. They have brought this card down to the $25 level. They have bottomed him out. They have broken up Tron decks. They've made him, as an aside, he is one of the truly powerful planeswalkers in the game. If you can get to his ultimate ability, you can do crazy stuff with this card. But the way that Modern works, the way that we have in games like Commander, he never has a chance. He never hits the board. There are so many ways of dealing with planeswalkers. They've killed their own golden goose with cards like this. Jace, all these cards are just going to keep bottoming and seeing less and less play because nobody cares. It's a fun card for casual now, but it doesn't have that really devastating effect. Here we have Kibo, the Prince. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that second one. You guys see my pronunciation today. Now, this is an interesting card that I'm curious about from Commander. I'll probably pick copies up. 3 casting costs 2/2. Everyone gets a banana. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a fun card to have around, but it's also a monkey. And you guys know tribal stuff does come around. Picking up core cards like this and holding on for long term, if you ever want to build decks like this, just like in Throne of Eldraine when you get the fairies going, there are chances for tribal connections later, which can link back to older cards, newer cards, cards that people thought were worthless. You got to pay attention to these ones because you never truly know where they're going to land in the long run. Now, Rustic Study, another reprint already. Like, Wizards is just jamming things right into the ribcage with a fork right now. I know a lot of players are annoyed, but this card probably needed to come down. Okay, it needed to be brought down to earth a little bit more. This card's going to settle around the $25 level. This is, of course, an original one from Prophecy. Who knows how these things will play in the long run, but history tells me it won't recover. Okay, it's not going to recover to the same levels. It takes a very long time. And Wizards is reprinting too quickly. They're ramming things in there, trying to find value, trying to find the floor for people, and they're trying to bring values down. And that means any collector investor out there is not buying these things to hold anymore, which means there will be a glut on the market. You will have your choice of these cards. You're not going to have people buying 200, 300 copies and holding them anymore. It's not going to happen. That's not the way the secondary market's working. And here we have our last card today, and that is Sheoldred. Now, this is a card I thought would stay around the $25, $30 level. But if there was any breakout card from Dominaria United that people hate, want banned, want gone from play, it is Shieldred the Apocalypse. But Wizards will probably be afraid to do any of that at this point, because this is one of the cards people are playing with and having fun with. They're using it in Arena, they're using it in Commander decks, they're using it in Vintage Legacy. This thing is seeing play. It has Death Touch. Whenever your opponent draws a card, you gain life. Sorry, whenever you draw a card, whenever your opponent draws a card, they lose life. It's a 4/5. I mean, come on. This thing has so much going for it. You can't shake what this card does. But that also means it's a target. Wizards knows it has value. They're going to wait 3-4 years. They're going to reprint this again when it hits that $80 level, just like they do with cards like Mox. Okay, Mox Amber came back because it hit a certain price point. The Wizards really wants to keep things in check. If you look at a lot of cards, those price points, you'll notice there's a ceiling that is being established for newer cards. It seems to be happening more and more, and I'm charting it out. I'll probably do a video soon on it, but we're not quite there. I need more data. This is interesting stuff, guys, and these are cards that people are buying all the time. Even with the reprints coming, people are buying these cards a lot. Okay, they're enjoying them. Some of these cards might even hit the top 10 this week. We'll see. Hard to tell until we get the Brothers War sales in to see if it really kept the market going, or if cards from Dominator United come back and strike back. Also, a couple of small sales are happening in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. I'll talk about that in Saturday's Hot 10 as well. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Thanks for being here today on the video. Can't wait to read those comments in the comments section. Have an awesome day. All you singles buyers out there, you're doing well, I can tell. I'll see you guys soon. And of course, guys, a big shout out to all the patrons out there. Thanks again for being here. Patrons make the world go round. And don't forget, guys, December's almost here for my patrons. Almost. I know. You're here at the end, and you're wondering what's going on. Don't worry, you special people. You haven't missed anything. But there are hints out there telling you things. You just have to pay attention. And you got to be a patron. Remember that, guys. For this kind of stuff, you got to be a patron. I hope you are. Welcome to the club if you are. It's awesome. Okay, because it's almost December. You know how it is. You're special people. You made it to the end. But the patrons, they know what's going on. They have a hint. Because, you know, they've been through this before. It's almost Christmas time. Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for making it to the end. And you know what? It's going to be a wild year. That's all I can tell you. Wild year. Just wild.